The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless.
You ever notice how the king of Family Feud cracks jokes at warp speed until someone whispers Katt Williams? Suddenly the smile stiffens, the laugh track fades, and Steve Harvey's body language screams, "Get me out of here." For years, fans chalked it up to ordinary showbiz rivalry. But dig a little deeper and you'll find stolen jokes, sidelined icons, and one brutal New Year's Eve that still keeps Harvey up at night. Tonight, we're pulling every dusty receipt out of the comedy vault to ask, is Steve Harvey's entire stand-up legacy built on punchlines that were never his? And did Katt Williams force him off the mic for good? So grab your popcorn, because by the time we're done, you may never look at that famous mustache the same way again. When Katt Williams strolled onto Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay couch in January 2024, nobody expected a masterclass in scorched earth comedy politics. Katt didn't just fire a quick jab. He unloaded the whole ammunition crate. He accused Steve Harvey of swiping Mark Curry's entire Halloween routine and even lifting the premise of Curry's 90s sitcom Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. He mocked Harvey's once legendary high-top fade, exposing the hairpiece rumor most fans never believed. And he suggested that Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and radio host Ricky Smiley formed a joke theft cartel, thriving off borrowed material while freezing out anyone who called them on it. Social media had a field day. Within hours, side-by-side clips of Curry's old Comedy Central special and Harvey's daytime talk show monologue racked up millions of views. The similarities weren't inspired. They were carbon copies. Katt grinned, the internet gasped, and Steve Harvey's PR team scrambled. But that was only round one. 2 days later, Harvey phoned into a morning radio show, voice noticeably tight. He called the allegations podcast bullish, insisted he hadn't touched a stand-up stage since 2015, and dared Katt or Curry to produce an invoice proving theft. Classic misdirection, focus on dates, not the joke itself. Problem was, the footage already spoke louder than his denial. Twitter detectives clipped Curry's 1999 cardboard box costume story next to Harvey's almost word-for-word retelling from an episode of Little Big Shots. The punchline cadence matched. Even the improvised tag, "We didn't know what we were," landed on the same beat. Each new comparison forced Harvey into another interview, another deflection. The harder he pushed back, the more viral the evidence became. And every time his name trended, so did Katt's. The balance of power was shifting online, exactly where Katt's fiercely loyal fan base lives. Yet their real bad blood started long before hashtags. Detroit's Fox Theater, December 31st, 2008. Promoters billed it the championship of comedy, but nobody expected a genuine head-to-head. Steve Harvey was the advertised closer. Katt Williams was supposed to headline the Friday slot and disappear. Instead, Katt stayed in town, walked on stage right before midnight, and declared, "We're calling this a battle, Steve." What followed is the stuff of stand-up folklore. Katt roasted Harvey's famously flawless hairline for 13 straight minutes. There are 30,000 scripts in Hollywood begging for leading men. Not a single one says country bumpkin with a glued-on fade shaped like Mr. Potato Head's hat. The crowd screamed. Steve tried a rebuttal but stumbled. Katt counterpunched with 2 new tags. The audience took Katt's side. By the final countdown, Harvey waved a white towel, figuratively, and left the stage looking like he'd aged 10 years. Within 6 months, the high top was gone. Harvey shaved it clean, leaned hard into TV hosting, and quietly retired from touring. Coincidence? Maybe. But a comedian losing his signature look right after being humiliated for it feels a lot like surrender. Fast forward 9 years and the wound was far from healed. Netflix's anniversary reunion was supposed to be a victory lap for every 90s legend. Dave Chappelle grabbed the mic, thanked the pioneers, and singled out Katt Williams as one of the rawest to ever touch a stage. The camera cut to Katt smiling in the crowd, then panned to Steve Harvey, frowning, shoulders tensed. Steve forced a nervous chuckle and blurted, "I'm nervous as hell right now." The room laughed politely, but Dave ignored him and kept praising Katt. Seconds later, Steve tried again. "When have you ever seen this many heavy hitters in one room?" Translation: Can we stop talking about Katt, please? Cedric the entertainer echoed a quick, yeah, an audible assist. To the casual viewer, it was harmless banter. To industry folks, it reeked of anxiety. If Katt so much as took the stage, cameras and headlines would pivot to him. That wasn't a risk Harvey or Cedric wanted, but the reunion revealed something else. Steve wasn't just worried about losing laughs, he feared losing the narrative. Because by 2017, rumors of joke theft were snowballing, and Mark Curry had receipts. Curry says the shock hit one lazy afternoon in 2015. Phone rings, Buddy shouts, "Turn on the TV, Steve's doing your Halloween bit." Curry flips the channel and nearly drops the remote. There's Harvey telling the exact same story about childhood poverty, liquor store cardboard boxes, and a costume nobody could identify. Word for word, tag for tag. Curry went public on Willie D's podcast, calling Harvey's move a B-level swipe and warning, "I'm a G in the game. Steal from me and I'll step to you." Harvey's comeback? Grow up. He argued that with his talk show schedule, he hadn't time to lift Curry's material, even though the video rounded up over 1 million views proving otherwise. Fans then noticed bizarre parallels between Curry's 1992 ABC pilot and the Steve Harvey show that launched 4 years later. A black male mentor wrangling inner-city teens via exaggerated tough love, all built around a wisecracking sidekick best friend. Similar? Maybe. But Curry's accusation that Harvey wanted to be him suddenly rang louder, and Harvey wasn't the only king accused of creative borrowing. Katt's Club Shay. Shay rant also targeted Cedric the entertainer. According to Katt, Cedric sat in the Comedy Store in 1998, applauded Katt's closer about driving a raggedy car that magically transforms every pothole into a roller coaster drop, then used an almost identical closer in Kings of Comedy except the car became a spaceship. Cedric dismissed it as coincidence, calling Katt's memory revisionist. Yet a quick YouTube mashup of both routines shows the rhythm and punchline land on identical beats. Even Cedric's own fans admitted it was too close for comfort. The clip has since cracked 2 million views, and every comment section revisits the same question. If Cedric borrowed, did Steve borrow too? Which brings us to the quiet third member of this alleged joke ring. Katt's beef with radio host Ricky Smiley seemed random until you rewind to auditions for Friday After Next. Smiley claims he was originally cast as Money Mike, the flamboyant pimp made iconic by Katt. Katt calls that pure fiction. He says Smiley auditioned like everyone else, was outperformed, then spent years telling people the role was stolen. Katt doubled down on Club Shay Shay, revealing an R-rated revenge scene that Smiley supposedly agreed to film, until Katt nixed it, labeling it comedy poison. Katt then stated he refused future projects with Smiley unless Smiley put on a dress. Months later, Smiley's next big film gig was First Sunday, in which he played church lady Bernice Jenkins, floral dress and all. Coincidence or cosmic payback? Internet detectives couldn't decide. Smiley denied any contract stipulation, arguing that comedic cross-dressing is a staple from Flip Wilson to Tyler Perry. But Twitter threads pointed to black male comics historically being asked to wear dresses for mainstream acceptance, reigniting debate about hidden Hollywood hazing rituals. Katt naturally stood back and watched the chaos unfold. But the ugliest accusations orbit a legend who can no longer defend himself. Before Bernie Mac passed in 2008, he opened most Kings of Comedy shows, and often torched the stage so thoroughly the crowd left hoarse. Katt claims Harvey, Cedric, and Ricky Smiley resented that shine. He alleges they lobbied producers to keep Bernie first on the bill, thinking headliner Harvey would close stronger. The final cut of Spike Lee's concert film betrayed that plan. Bernie's set ran last because editors knew the truth. Nobody wanted to follow him. DJ Ed Lover later affirmed that Bernie privately believed Harvey tried to yank the Frank Catton role in Ocean's 11. Harvey has denied every word, calling it impossible fiction. Still, those whispers amplify Katt's overarching theory. A clique of top-billing comics protects its turf by any means. Joke theft, role snatching, narrative control, while the industry politely looks the other way. Which begs the question, if Katt Williams possesses more receipts, emails, contracts, uncut footage, how many careers could he crater overnight? Harvey's empire thrives on good guy branding. The lovable uncle who helps you find love at noon and makes grandma laugh at 7 p.m. Katt is chaos incarnate, the truth teller who'll torch a bridge ablaze, then roast the ashes. One viral Katt rant can undo a year of brand deals. Reach. Katt's fan base lives online where reputational hits travel faster than network TV can spin them. Receipts. He keeps recordings, photos, and backstage witnesses. Insurance for war. Immunity. Katt already survived arrest headlines, Hollywood blackballing, and viral memes about his height. He's uncancelable because he leans into the chaos. Harvey, Cedric, and Smiley each built lucrative mainstream lanes. Their endorsements, sitcom reruns, and production deals depend on squeaky clean optics. If audiences believed they exploited Bernie Mac's trust or lifted jokes from lesser-known comics, the fallout could freeze those revenue streams cold. That's why a single Katt Williams interview sends tremors through comedy's old guard. He's the unpredictable variable they can't control. So, is Steve Harvey genuinely terrified of Katt Williams? Terrified might be dramatic, yet every on-camera flinch, every hurried denial, and every back-channel phone call suggests something deeper than ordinary rivalry. Maybe Harvey fears being exposed as a punchline pirate. Maybe he dreads reliving that 2008 night in Detroit when Katt stripped away the wig and the invincible mystique. Or maybe he simply knows that in an era where receipts live forever online, the truth eventually sells more tickets than talent alone. Whatever the reason, one fact is crystal clear. Katt Williams refuses to play Hollywood's hush-hush game, and the louder he talks, the quieter Steve Harvey gets. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Is Katt exposing an industry-wide con or crafting the greatest long-running roast in comedy history? Drop your theories, your favorite stolen joke clips, or any backstage stories you've heard in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed having the curtain yanked back on comedy's best-kept secrets, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Because next week we're digging into the feud nobody predicted, Kevin Hart versus the ride-along screenwriters. Until then, keep your punchlines original and your contracts airtight. See you in the next one.